Alright, welcome back, good people. On this video, I want to talk about questions that make you look back. Wherever you are today in life, there was a journey you took to get there. And whether you're quote unquote successful or quote unquote unsuccessful, whether you consider yourself in the middle of a journey or whether you feel like you've done all you can do, whatever that is for you, it was based on decisions that you made along that path, right? It wasn't based on the things that I decided for you. It was based on decisions that you decided for yourself, right? So with the understanding of that, you have to know that, first of all, decisions are very important. Second of all, you have to know that it's possible you decide something other than what you decided. In other words, if you keep going through the same thing and wondering why you keep going through the same thing, chances are really good that you're deciding the same types of outcomes, right? And if it's you that I'm talking to right now, if that's making sense to you, then stop it. Do something different. All right. These questions are really good for your spirit. I like questions that make you kind of reflect, if you will, and that's how I believe you get stronger when you look back and you see why you did make decisions that you made, and you would never make those decisions again. That makes you stronger, right? So the first question is, have you ever done something you regretted? I think the answer to that would be absolutely. And if you live long enough, you probably had several of those situations, right? But it's not about the regret so much, in my opinion. It's why did you do it in the first place? And could you have not done that? Or, things like that. So you can kind of catch things like that before you would have to regret them. So going forward in life, that's what makes you a better person, is when you're able to catch those things. Like, you ever had a situation where someone said something negatively to you and you wanted to respond right back real quick, but you held it, you didn't do it? You're better off for that, right? It shows you have some restraint, some strength. Because sometimes people push your buttons. Sometimes people test you to see where you are. And if you're not, solid in who you are and what you stand for, you can get caught up in some things very, very quickly. The next one is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Now, that's a question I like to ask my clients. Basically because when you're growing a business, it's not going to take a week or 2 weeks. It's going to take some time, right? A lot of times it takes your entire life. Think about that. Your entire life. Not to start a business, but to have the business succeed like you want to. But it's not based on the success monetarily that you want. It's based on the journey that you're able to create this. You are creating this with this. And this, you are putting your mind and your hard work together, and you are creating this. This does not exist before you put it together. You are the owner. When you own that, then you have say in what happens with it. You do. You are the CEO, the president, however you want to title it. That is you. And that's what I would like for you to entertain for yourself, that you can have that business. And I can help you. The next one is, what is your happiest moment? Do you remember? I don't remember my happiest moment. I really don't. I've had a whole lot of happy moments though. But my happiest moment, I wouldn't say, ooh, that's the happiest. But I would say, I remember my daughter being born. That was a happy moment for me. It was really, really a happy moment for me. Because I had a son already, and that was a happy moment as well. But I think a dad has a different relationship with the daughter. You have this man-boy relationship with your son, but with your daughter, that's a different type of dynamic. It's you let daughters get away with certain things that you wouldn't let your son get away with. But you have to make your son a man. You have to grow him into a man so he can be responsible. And both of those are really, really special times in my life. But I think there's a host of those, but I just can't pull them back up. The next question was, when was the last time you shed a tear? When was the last time you cried over something or someone? Yeah, there was a time when you did that. When was the last time? Not the time before that, the last time. It shouldn't be that long, right? I mean, we go through life with ups and downs and mental and emotional highs and lows, but certain things will pull a tear out. I'll tell you what will pull a tear out of me really quickly is when I watch a video or hear a story of someone who's overcome something, or someone who has reached a plateau that they were striving for over a period of time, and they're telling their story. Those things like that really have a tendency to pull the tear. I call those tear jerkers for me, because I work so hard to get what I'm creating, right? And I know what it takes. I know what it takes. It's not a walk in the park. It's a lifetime commitment. It's a lifestyle change that you create a different life for yourself so that you can continue on the journey, right? And never stop, and never stop. It's not based on me becoming a millionaire, me having $10 million. It's not based on that. It's based on my love for it, my desire, my passion. It's based on all that. And when it's on that level, the money will come. Because if you continue to create products, to create a brand, to create who you are, to grow your system, the money and I'll say fame. I really don't seek the fame, but you're famous on all levels. Like I share with people, you have to become famous in your own neighborhood before you can be famous all over the world, right? So think about that. People that know you, that if you have a job like me, I have another job too. If I have my co-workers, they look at me differently, they view me differently, they respect me differently because of the walk that I'm walking. They don't really know what I do, a lot of them, some do, but that's not necessary that they know that, because that's not affecting whether I continue it or whether I stop it. But that's the same mindset you have to have. You're not governed by this person's opinion or belief that you should stop or continue or whatever. You're going at your own pace. This is your life you're creating. And at the end, you'll be in such a place of knowledge, such a place of wealth, such a place of understanding, that you'll be able to not only live the life and the lifestyle that you want and you desire, you'll also be able to give back and help other people do the same. Because from a mentor perspective, when people just watch you, they don't have to buy your products. If they're just able to watch you and follow you a little bit, more often than not, they're going to get something out of that they can, carry with them on their journey. All right, the next question to look back is, what is a tradition you did as a child that you want to do with your kids someday? What is a tradition that you did with your child that you want to do with your kids someday? What is that for you? That's very important, right? Because you want your kids to take away something from you that, I remember we did this every summer. I remember we did this every, Christmas. Or, whatever that is for you, that's important to you and the kids if you're a traditional type person. The next one is, what are some of the things in life that you had to learn the hard way? I would say a lot. I had to learn a lot of things the hard way because I'm a risk taker to a certain degree, but I like to take risk on knowledge. I like to have that knowledge, that understanding then I'll take a risk. But I don't really take a lot of risk without that understanding. It's like you want me to play the game and don't tell me the rules. I'm not going to be able to put a whole lot of money and a whole lot of time into that one, right? Okay, the next one is, do you have any dreams from childhood that you can vividly recall? Nope, I don't. Do you? All right, next one. How do you picture your life when you're 60? Well, I happen to be 60. Can you imagine that? I don't know. But I like it. All right. Next one is, what is your most terrible memory? My most terrible memory. Now, that's pretty easy to pick out, I bet you. For most of us, we can remember the worst thing that happened to us, right? But we might not want to tell it. But we do have a most terrible memory. What is yours? I'll wait. All right. The next one is, how have you changed the most since you were younger? How have you changed the most since you were younger? I don't really like that question. Next question. In what areas do you want to change the most? That's a good question. Because that requires you to look within. That requires you to understand where you want to go, right? These are the type of questions you want to know for your own perspective, right? And ask other people these questions and see what their response is. You know, just get you a little week to week or month to month survey where you can just throw some questions out in front of people and see what their response is. You'll be shocked at the way they answer and the way they view you from that point on. Especially when you do it for like 3 or 4 weeks in a row. They'll be like, oh, here come Larry with them questions again. All right. The next thing is, when was the first time you were in love? When was the first time you were in love? Next is, when was the first time you said, I love you? Now that one is good. Now that one is a winner. Because you probably can't remember that. Or can you? If you're a female, you can probably remember that. But I would venture to say that a guy really can't remember that. I mean, you know, not that he says it a lot or whatever, but I think that our mind doesn't really focus on that. Unless, you know, they're still with that same person or they've never said it to anybody else. Or, you know, something along that line. Other than that, I think we, as men, we kind of like block things out at certain times. I think it's just what we do. All right, the next one is there any book that changed your life? I like Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I liked Think and Grow Rich. I liked, yes, I would say certain books have changed my life. All right, next question. What is your biggest insecurity? What is my biggest insecurity? I don't think I'm insecure at all. I don't think I have a big insecurity. I don't. Because I like when people win. I like when people win. I'm not jealous. I'm not envious. I like my life. You know, as a matter of fact, if I can say love, I love my life. You know, and that's what I believe. Where I am right now is all I have right now. The present. So that's all on me. I'm loving that. So if I'm loving that, there's no room to dislike what you're doing. You're happy, right? Or not. But either way, what the question is, what's my biggest insecurity? I don't have one that I can name. Do you? All right. Only a couple more questions left. A couple more questions. Okay, this is one. Is there anything you're ashamed of? Probably. I would say definitely there are some things people are ashamed of. But they're not telling. All right, the final top question is, if you could change anything about the past, what would it be? Nothing. I wouldn't change anything about the past. I believe that it worked out best. I wouldn't change a thing. Would you? All right. I hope you found that video to be somewhat interesting, probably different, right? Because, most times everything is kind of serious and business-like. And I like to do that from time to time. But when you're talking about personal development, sometimes you have to get to a person's comical side or humorous side, or kind of lighten the load to kind of get buy-in and get an understanding. Because if everything is so structured and serious, then you're not really allowing people who are not like that to really want to participate, right? And we want everybody to participate, and you are somebody. SpeakerLarry.com